About the hands, as long as they're not on the knees and they're putting weight on their knees. Obviously, that's me down. Okay? I'm getting the stance. Alright? As he gets down, okay, we want him to not be so tall in his stance because this opens up a surface for blockers to get on. Alright? So if he's down a little bit more, that's fine. Alright? Kind of makes it harder initially for blockers to get to him. Obviously, eyes are on his read, on his key. Okay? So that's the basic stance like that. Pre-snap, for the balls even snap. Obviously, our defense, the communication runs through linebackers, okay? We got to get, in terms of us, we're no huddle. We signal to everybody this year. But they're in charge of making sure everybody, especially the front seven's aligned correctly, okay? So we got to make sure that they know what defense we're in. They're calling out slants, they're calling out, angles, all your type of stunts that we have going on. They're calling it the strength call so that they're communicating so everybody's on the same page. The thing we tell them, if you're communicating well, even if you call the strength call wrong, if everybody lines up wrong, we're still going to be okay. It's when half of us are strong this way, the other half strong that way, that's where the gaps open up. Obviously, we never want to miss that, but as long as we're communicating strongly with the whole defense, we're still going to be okay. We can still survive that play, okay? So the pre-snap communication is huge for the linebackers. It's something we drill in their heads. Just defense as a whole, one thing we have our corners do every play is call it down and distance, okay? Call it down and distance. Just because then it kind of gives the defense an idea of what might be coming. 3rd and 1, obviously we're expecting a run. 3rd and 15, we're expecting more of a pass. So getting them that habit of communicating down distance first, it kind of gets them in the mindset of what they might be expecting. Okay? So pre-snap communication is huge for a whole defense, but especially our linebackers. Next thing is reads. Our reads a lot of times are based on the game plan. We'll start off in camp, we'll be reading linemen just because that's the hardest thing to read. So we have that in the weeks where we need to do it. But then we'll get into game weeks where we read the backs. Based on the film, sometimes the back takes you to the ball type thing. But the biggest thing for linebackers have to learn is they have to keep their eyes on their read. All defensive players, really. Keep their eyes on their key and trust it. Okay? A lot of times you got guys who want to do everything, make every play, and pretty soon they're following that fake, they're following that misdirection, and all of a sudden it opens up where the offense wants it to. So drill in their heads, give them a key, give them something to read, and then they got to keep their eyes on that read. But that's also just their initial read as well. Okay? That's their initial read as well until they find the flow of the play. Okay? Now, as they're reading, as they're here, obviously their eyes on their key. We always want them to take what we call read steps. Their first step's always going to be forward. Okay, obviously that first split second, they're not going to be able to determine exactly what the play is. We always want them moving. We want them standing and then reacting. We want them moving, read step forward. By the time they get that foot in the ground, they should have an idea where that read's going to take them. Now they're moving in that direction. Okay. Again, we don't want false steps. We don't want this. We don't want popping up either, especially a shorter guy. All right, might try and pop up. Your read is going to take you to the play, okay? So we're right here, eyes like that. Obviously, we never want any type of crossover. That's the movement. Something we do initially and something that...
The read step, is that a 1-step or 2-step?
Just one. One step. By the time they get that first step down, hopefully the offense...
Doesn't matter which foot?
Doesn't matter because you don't know which way the play is going. So whichever you're comfortable with, okay? Something to really work with young guys is the concept of moving downhill. We just did it over here in the drill. We had Corey, he was like a running back, and he kind of ran around the end. And I said, now if I just run straight sideways, and Corey kept coming, I said, where am I making the tackle? Even the littlest kids go about 5 yards. Says, that ain't good? No. So we talked about how we got to move downhill, how we move downhill to the tackle, keep our shoulders square. So now where am I beating them at? Line of scrimmage. In fact, if you tackle them, you might actually lose yards. So even the youngest kids got that over there. So kind of getting that in their head that they need to move downhill towards the line of scrimmage on a proper angle to the ball carrier. Attack the ball carrier. Don't move sideways. It's a 5-yard gain if you make the tackle. Okay? Then as you're moving to the ball, as you're making your reads, talk to them about developing a sense of where the blockers are. Okay? We try not to put our eyes on the blockers. We try and just sense them, keep our eyes on the ball carrier, kind of sense as things are going. Okay? Like I said, you got your initial read. That's going to take you, in the direction where the ball is going. After you make your initial read, even if we're reading linemen, then we find the flow of the backfield. Okay? We have 2 types of flow. Tight flow, which means hitting like A gap or B gap, or wide flow. Okay? Obviously, whichever flow they're taking, whichever angle they're taking, we kind of want to match it. Okay? If they're going wide, we don't want to come up in here and then go, oh, we got to get out here because now we got all this junk in our way. Okay? If they're going wide, we're going wide. If they're going tight, we're going tight. Okay? So we talk about, you know, flow, tight flow, wide flow. Well, I just want to move with independent feet. Okay, that's one thing we're really going to talk about this year. Move with independent feet. So at all times, if I take on a block or I have to make a tackle, I have a foot in the ground. Okay, I have a foot in the ground that I can use to give resistance. I'm not going to get bowled over. I'm not going to get dominated. I got a foot in the ground. I'm in a good position. I've got the leverage, not the guy coming at me. Okay, so just not, it's not really a shuffle or a click of the heels. It's just independent feet as we move. You know, we always got a foot in the ground. We can still move quickly. Obviously, ball's way out there. We got to sprint there first. Okay, but like in between the tackle box here, we're going to move with independent feet and get to where we need to get to. Let's see here. Now, as we're going, find the flow. We talk about concepts of cloudy and clear. Okay. Yes, pre-snap we have a gap. You know, linemen are in certain spots. We're responsible for a gap, but as plays go on, gaps can move and all that. Pretty soon you get the blocking go on, double teams, all that stuff. So as we tell our guys as they're flowing to the play, attack the clear, avoid the cloudy. Basically, cloudy is a mass of people. All right, blocks going on, whatever. Clear is the openings. The openings the offense is trying to create. Because what's running back looking for? They're looking for those same openings. We're going for those openings too, and we're going to be there. Okay? So, you know, usually as a play develops, you know, the front side backer we want to take, you know, angle the flow, take on that back. Usually there's going to be another opening as well. The backside backer now has to check that cutback lane before he proceeds beyond it. Okay? One thing I do tell guys, if you got a kid that's faster than everybody else, all right, if he's on this cutback lane, yeah, the ball might be going a bit wider, but if he's fast enough to get through this lane to the backfield, to the back, let him do it. Okay? Let him do it. If the guy cuts back, he's there. All right, if he can get there, great. Because if the front side's doing their job of setting an edge and we're flowing, he might just delay just enough, and that guy might be able to get there. Okay. Now, if he's not fast enough, then have him keep skating down the line and get to the point of attack. And sometimes you can sneak a guy in kind of the back door, we call it. So that's ways we want to get to the ball. Now, obviously, as you get to the ball, nobody's going to let you get there if they're any good. You got to destroy blocks. Block destruction, we call it. So, go ahead and be the linebacker here. All right. So a couple different drills we do for block destruction. The first one is if the ball's going wide. All right. The guy goes down on the angle. What we're going to do is walk through this. All right, you got a blocker coming. What we're going to do is we're going to break. Okay. First thing I tell my guys, especially if you block the speed, be faster than linemen. Get to the point of attack that lineman gets you. Okay, if a good lineman is going to take proper angles, they're going to be able to get to you at some point. So on this one, a couple keys, we want him to get low. All right, give him as little surface as possible. Obviously, linemen are using their hands. They're trying to get up in here. Okay, don't give them that surface. Make them work on something else. The other one, near foot, near shoulder. Switch your feet real quick. All right, fear like that. I'm going to push him over real easy with your feet. Now he can push against me. Now I got much more, he's got much more leverage against me then, okay? He's low, he's ripping up and through, all right? A lot of guys, especially your guys, want to do this. You have no strength this way, all right? Your strength is this way. He's going to rip through like this, so as I try and get my hands on him, my hands come off, he's getting to the ball, all right? And we stress these guys spend as little time with the blocker as possible. Just rip through it. Now, kind of thing, some of these guys will do initially is as the blockers coming, they'll bow out. All right, they'll start bowing out. Well, now they're off course. All right, they're not getting to the point of attack as quick as they should. At some point, good blockers are going to get you. You're going to have to defeat that block. Okay, don't bow out and avoid that. So that's on the angles. You can do it obviously both ways. You can do it with shields. You can do it with just the hands. All right. Then there's times where play's coming straight at you, okay? Now you got to do closing work, okay? So eventually work to this one here, where we got a blocker here, he's coming straight at him, he's got to deliver a blow, all right? The big thing is we want the arms extended, The other thing is the eyes never leave the ball carrier on this one. You don't look here, you look at the ball carrier. What he's going to do is the eyes on the ball carrier goes that way, now he's going to rip off of it. He's only going to be engaged with his blocker until he knows where that ball's going. Now he's ripping and going, okay? The eyes on the ball carrier. So for the drill, I have a ball carrier. I tell him don't go until you see him lock out. Now at this point, now he goes, right? Just to let these guys know they can't cheat and be early on it. But hey, you got to lock out and then rip, okay? Now we're just going to rip. I didn't like that this year. Now, a couple things, I'm hold the pad. A couple drills you can do to lead up to that is we'll start just a 6-point drill like this, all right? So we'll be here, all right, about a handshake away, all right? And what we're going to teach here is just the extension of the hips. So we'll be here and then we'll go, all right, just like that, just so we can teach them you got to extend the hips in order to move this guy. Your hips have to be part of it. A lot of them just want to use the arm. This guy is going to push it. Oh no, it's the hips. So we're here, right, just like that. And then we'll get them right here, all right? So now we're, all right? And then we'll get to that what we're doing. Okay? We're starting close and then work backwards from there. Kind of getting used to exploding. So this guy's coming. Oh boy. All right? You're coming, his job is to get you. Your job is to get past him to the ball. So you've really got to be physical here, but then at the same time, your eyes on the ball carrier so you can rip off and get to him. So those are the two big block destruction things we do. We also talk about how there's two different types of blocks. There's direct block, which comes from the lineman and on the line through. Alright, so that's a guard, and I'm over the guard, and he comes at me. That's a direct block. Alright, if possible, obviously I want to take it on indirectly. Okay, now obviously that back's right behind him, I don't have that possibility. But most of the time, if possible, we're going to take on a direct block indirectly. Okay? Now, an indirect block is the guy that's off the line. Okay? Fullback, pulling guard, something like that. Okay? So now I'm an outside backer, all right? He's a fullback coming to kick me out. This indirect block now, I want to take on directly, okay? I'm going to set, in this case, I'm setting the edge, okay? So I want to think, I'm getting low, and I want to basically dent it. I want to put a dent into him, hold my position here, okay? So now he can't set the edge on me, or I set the edge right here, he can't kick me out, okay? Because this gap, the higher this gap is, the less ground the inside back is flowing from the inside back to stuff, okay? Because if I come up here like this, and he kicks me out, or I take an angle out here, that's just grown, all right? I was have to realize too, if I do a good enough job on this, that back might try and bounce, and I got to be in position to come off this and make the tackle. So an indirect block, you want to take on directly. The other situation, you like an ISO block, all right? And usually now, in this case, you'd have another linebacker, okay? So lineman block lineman here, you've got a fullback coming. Now we want to take on just the shoulder here. Hopefully the other backer's right here. We use that fullback to fill the gap. As well as, get off and make the tackle. I'll get the tackling here in a second, okay? And then pass drops, the biggest thing we tell the kids in the pass drops, based on their position, what defense they're in will determine which way they're dropping and which zone they're getting to. But the biggest thing, wherever zone you have them getting to and dropping to, all right, we want them to have their head on a swivel, all right? Which means they're seeing quarterback, they're also finding routes. Don't just drop to grass and do this. Guy right there is going to catch the ball, I'm never going to know it. Guy right there. If I'm dropping, all right, there's the guy, I'm going to kind of shuffle towards him a little bit, okay? Obviously, yes, interception would be great, a pass breakup would be great, but this is probably one of the most difficult things we ask our defensive guys to do is a linebacker trying to get underneath routes. Okay? As they're dropping, if a route comes near them, they're rerouting because they're getting their hands on them and pushing it. All right? I tell my guys, until that ball's in the air, assume that guy is not running a pass route, he's coming to block you. All right? So destroy that block. Now once the ball's in the air, obviously you can't touch it. All right, so we want to reroute, but we want to get in windows, all right, because obviously we're not going to drop 20 yards deep, but we can still affect the route maybe 15 yards deep by getting in that window, all right? It's like basketball. You don't have to block the guy's shot, but if you can alter enough that he misses, you don't score. Same thing here. Maybe you can't get a hand on the ball, but if you're in that window and the quarterback's got to throw a little high, or maybe he looks off and checks down, they didn't get what they wanted, okay? They had to do something else they didn't want to do, or maybe their eyes were clean. You may never touched it because you got in that window, you defended that pass. Okay? So, like I said, there's other things we do, but I think just for anything you guys might do, anytime you get a kid in a pass drop, just tell them head on a swivel, see the ball and see possible routes. Run to routes, cover routes, don't cover routes. Even in zone, you're covering the route. Now, that route goes through your zone, don't follow it out of your zone. You know, let it pass it off to the next guy. But if he's in your zone, cover that route. All right, tackling.
How deep do the zones go, Charlie?
Our flats will about 10 yards, 10 to 12 is our flats, and their hook curls.
How far back are your middle linebackers?
We'll start at 4.5.
Off the line of scrimmage?
Yep, we'll start at 4.5. Yep, all our linebackers are 4.5. Our outside backers are 4.
Getting too close is not good though. Like, I did that the beginning of all that season, and it took me out of like 9 or 10 plays a game. That should have been.
And that's the thing, especially if the team's killing you right in between the tackles.
Yeah.
The habit is to come up. Well, now you've lost all angles, all leverage to the other guy. And yeah, if they can run it at you, great. But if you've got to flow it, you've lost it. Right? So you got to be, back far enough that you can flow and not get tangled up and stuff. Even a couple years ago, we had a set of 3 very good linebackers, and against Port Central, they started moving the ball on us, and you can see on film pretty soon they're 3 yards off. Guys, as soon as they run off tackle, what are you going to do? You're hurt with the trap, but as soon as they see that, they're going to go somewhere else. So, keep them back. Tackling. This is for the whole defense here. 3 different types of tackling. All right, we have close quarters, we have profile, and we have open field. All right, close quarters is kind of like that phone booth tackling. It's in a tight space. You're probably a D lineman, linebacker will probably be in this situation. Maybe a good safety that comes up. But you got kind of in a close quarter space. His options are limited other than it's man-on-man type thing. Okay. So what we're going to teach is we always start at the point of contact and move back. Okay. So we'll start right here. His hands are up like this. What we want is same foot, same shoulder. We come in just like this. Okay. We want to hit with the inside front of the shoulder, chest plate first. Okay, that's what's making contact. Okay, the head's turning to the side. Obviously, get the head out of the way. Okay, but again, it's the same foot, same shoulder concept. Because if I'm like this, now he's got a chance to come through me. If I'm like this, he's not coming through. We fire the hands through, and he's going to back. Okay, so that's just the first move. We're just right here. Coach will say hit, and it's just boom. We have him hold it. All right. The other thing, it's easy on him. So my forehead is under his chin. Okay? My forehead's under his chin, just like this. Then the next thing will fit and then drive. So now we're here, boom, all right? Because we'll have a little more momentum, but boom, and then we'll roll their hips under and then drive, all right? And in practice, especially if you use like a shield, sometimes you can just use a shield for this. Have a guy hold a shield, all right? Hold the shield like this. We can go here, and then we can go like this, all right? Over-exaggerate, we call stepping on their toes, all right? Try and drive your feet and step on your toes. Roll those hips under, okay? A lot of guys, when they hit, they're still like this, and their butt's out. We wanted to hit and roll the hips under their shoulders, so they got some leverage now to get a little bit of lift on this guy.
Coach, previously was it face mask in the chest or face mask here? Because you said turn your head to the side. I thought it was face mask right in, put the face mask right in it.
It may have been. But yeah, now we have them.
To the side,
Yep, they're right here, eyes up, and then the last second, turn to the side and take them on that way. So, but again, this should make contact for the head pass right in here. So kind of like this. Then what we'll do is back them off 2 yards. Okay, go ahead. Put that down. Okay. These can be done either with the shield off to the side or with just the body. Okay. So now we're right here, and we tell them when you get within 2 yards of a defender, we got to do what we call come to balance or shimmy, okay? Now I'll show them. If I'm running like this towards them, all you got to do is make one move. I'm not in position to tackle, all right? So I'm right here, I'm going to shimmy. So now if he moves, all right, I can move with him. Now initially for the drill, he stays put, okay? So I'm going to shimmy up to him, I'm going to sit, I'm going to drive, okay? Now as you go on, you may allow him to take one step, one side or the other. So now this guy does have to react. One step, boom, now I'm going to put the guy, okay? Then after that one, now we'll move them back. Now we say, hey, you got distance. Well, you still have distance between them. That's your enemy. Space is your enemy on defense. So now you got to run close down that distance. But now when you get to 2 yards, now you're going to shimmy again, hit and drive. Okay? That's kind of progression we teach in the close profile or close quarters tackle, the fumble type tackle. The next one is the profile or angle tackle. All right? Now he's moving on an angle here. And what we're going to switch to this year is kind of that hawk tackle. Some of you guys have seen the Seahawks thing. So now with this, now the aiming point is the inside hip. I want to get my pad onto the inside hip here, but the key again is same foot, same shoulder. Right here, head behind like this, and then keep driving through. All right, with plenty of force. I gotta say, initially, I was skeptical on it, because obviously you're thinking, well, it looks like an arm tackle. The key is that same foot, same shoulder. Because yeah, if it's like this, he's gonna win anytime. Okay, but you gotta drive this with. I was up at the Michigan camp this summer, and I got talking with the defensive coordinator from Sand Creek, and he had been the defensive coordinator at Adrian College year before that, and he said that this past season that his head coach at Sand Creek wanted to switch to this hawk tackle, and he was adamant on it. Of course, these D coordinators and the head coach was like, well, we have to. He wasn't really sure about it for the same reasons, and he said their tackling improved tremendously. He said really what it did, it gave the smaller guys trying to tackle the bigger guy a lot more confidence. Because now, he's way bigger than me, and I'm trying to get my whole body in front of him. I'm a smaller guy, I'm probably not looking forward to it. But if all I gotta do is this, that's gonna be better, okay? That's gonna give me a little more confidence. The biggest thing that we saw on the Seahawks film is that when they show game clips of the actual Seahawk players, a lot of times it looks like their helmet's coming down. I did ask this guy from Sand Creek about that as well, and he said we didn't have problems with that. We just preached our kids eyes up. We always have. So make sure you're preaching that, because now with the lower aiming point, there could be a tendency to do this. Tell them to keep those eyes up. All right. So now we're ripping through here like this and driving them that way. So that's the profile tackle. Now it can be done either way. The other one then is the open field tackling. Okay. Now with open field tackling, yeah, we can do these drills and give them techniques to use. But ultimately, get the guy in the ground. All right?